And a good Tuesday morning to you, Central Georgia. Thanks for tuning in to 13 WMAZ Plus for a look at your extended forecast. So going to go over kind of where our rainfall totals are before we get into our forecast, which is shaping up better and better each and every day. But a few things that we still have to get through before we get to a couple days without a rain chance and then getting into the weekend. Still a lot of question marks, but getting a little bit of a better idea about what specifically is going to happen with our frontal features that are going to try to approach our neck of the woods. So going into your 5-day rainfall totals, we're going to break it down piece by piece. And right now I have some areas highlighted right now on this map, but I do want to take those off just so I can show you exactly the colors that we are seeing. The most dominant color that you see on this map is more than likely going to kind of be that orangish yellow. Most areas falling somewhere in between the 2 and 4 inch mark in terms of rainfall throughout the last 5 days. We do have this one lone patch of some blue, which is rainfall totals below an inch. This area over here, actually, I know exactly why that is now. I've been saying this one spot over in Twiggs County didn't get a lot of rain. It's because it's right on top of our radar, so it probably wasn't measuring the rainfall over the last 5 days because it can only go out. It can't measure everything directly above it. So silly me on that one. I had a little bit of a brain fart on that, but you can see some red colors, some pinks, even some shades of white and gray and black, and we'll go into what totals those are here in just 1 second. We zoom into the northern half of Central Georgia, where I've kind of gone city by city to try to give you a rough idea of what you saw in terms of rainfall. Just over 2 inches in Eatonton, Monticello, about 2.7 down in Gray, 3.5 inches in Milledgeville, only 1.6 in Sandersville. But other areas of Washington County, if you live down to the south and the southeast of the county, you got almost 7 inches of rain. Really going to reiterate that point that those locally heavy rainfall amounts are going to continue to pop up, maybe even throughout today, but that has been the story across some areas that have gotten heavy thunderstorm after heavy thunderstorm training over the same area. 5 inches just north of Sparta, and then we go over here to our westernmost counties, Thomaston with about 2 inches of rain. Areas in East Upson County definitely got above the 4-inch mark, and about 2.8, just shy of 3 inches of rain down in Forsyth in Monroe County. So now we go to kind of the central portion of Central Georgia where most of our cities are going to lie. So a lot of places to kind of monitor here. 3.1 here in the downtown Macon vicinity, 2.5 in Roberta, Fort Valley about 4.3 inches, and I know it's overlapping with Byron right here at 5.3, so showing you that areas in northern Peach County got a little more rain than areas in south and southwestern Peach County. 2.5 inches over in Taylor County and Butler, almost 5 inches in Montezuma, 2.7 in Perry, just over 2 inches in Warner Robins. And then you take it down I-75, 7.5 inches of snow just north of Unadilla in Dooley County, 5.5 over here kind of in the corner of Houston County and Twiggs, over 2 inches in Cochran, 3.5 inches in Hawkinsville, and then right there, yes, right in Jeffersonville, that's going to be where our radar is, so that's why you're seeing the totals of only 1/10 of an inch of rain. 2.5 inches over in Irwinton in Wilkinson County, 3.8, nearly 4 inches in Dublin, 6.3 just going down south of I-16 in Lawrence County, kind of to the east of Cadwell, 6.3 inches total over the last 5 days. 4.6 in Wrightsville, and then 4.4 down in Treutlen County around the Soperton area. But now we go and zoom into our Middle Georgia Regional Airport right here. We got about 3.5, maybe upwards to close to 4 inches of rain at Middle Georgia Regional Airport over the last 5 days. So kind of remember that number when we go into our year departure of rain and then start to see how we compare to where we should be this time of year in terms of average, because we do all of our almanac data from Middle Georgia Regional Airport, including our high temperatures and low temperatures for downtown Macon. So now, giving it a minute to refresh right here, the largest totals that we did see do fall somewhere in Dooley County, just on the west end, about 9.5 inches of rain over the last 5 days, courtesy of those 2 severe thunderstorm warnings this past Saturday. 5.5 up and around the Lake Blackshear area, and then you just drive over to Cordele, not too far away, maybe 5-10 miles down the road. Only 1.5 inches of rain, so that's where you're going to see a lot of that green color. Some areas in our southern counties definitely didn't luck out with much rain, like Pineview, and then Abbeville and Eastman all falling below the 2-inch mark. We go over here to Telfair County, about 5.1 inches just south of Milan, 4.2 in Alamo, but then you go down to the far south and the southeast, and that's where some rainfall totals got above the 7-inch mark, even close to 8 inches in southeastern Wheeler County. But thankfully, we weren't dealing with this white and gray shade right here. Some areas just along I-16 as you go kind of eastward over into, this is Bullitt County right here. It's the county in between Emmanuel County and Bullitt County, 17.2 inches down along I-75 just in the last 5 days. Surprised it didn't result in any flash flood warnings, but maybe it was a little bit of a higher elevation, so we didn't have to deal with any of those flash flood warnings down to our south and our southeast. Somewhere that did see some flash flood warnings, Toombs County right here, where you see 11.2 inches of rain right smack dab in the middle of Toombs County. If you live closer to Vidalia, you only got about half a foot of rain, 6 inches on the dot. 9 inches in Reedsville, and then taking it down to the southern end of this county right here, just to the west of Glenville, 15 inches of rain over the last 5 days. So that was a lot of numbers, I know, but if you're watching from a certain area and we're curious to how much rain that you got, wanted to give you a rough idea because it's been a very rainy stretch and a pretty gloomy stretch, and kind of giving you an idea of how much water is going to kind of be added on to those low-lying areas. Maybe you kind of know some of the rainfall totals you've seen in the past and how long it's going to take for that water to drain or at least evaporate up into the sky. So yesterday we hit a high of 83 degrees, so right on par with what I forecasted, about 2 degrees shy of average for this time of year. It was a fairly warm morning too, with the cloud cover and rain in the picture, a morning low of 66 degrees. So above average for the low, not quite to average for the high temperature, but still well shy of 96 and well above 40 degrees, those records for your highs all time, your high temperature and your low temperature all time for May 12th, I believe is what yesterday was. So we got 8/100ths of an inch yesterday in terms of rainfall at Middle Georgia Regional Airport. That puts us 0.13 inches above average for where we should be this time of year. You can see sunrise around 6:38 in the morning. We're starting to get a peak of sunshine, or at least a little bit of sunlight peeking above the horizon as early as the 6 a.m. hour now during the morning show, and we will continue to see it a little bit earlier and earlier until getting into the first day of summer. That will be around June 21st, I do believe, June 20th or 21st. Sunset at 8:25. I cannot wait until that sunset gets closer and closer to about 9 p.m. It's really going to make for some long days, and that's really going to have that summer feel in the air when you start to still see sunlight out and it's 9 o'clock at night. So now we finally changed this up here in the top left. We are about 1/10 of an inch above average for where we should be this time of year in terms of rainfall. We have seen a complete flip of the script for the month of May. As of last week, before the rain really got going, we were maybe hovering about 1/100th of an inch, 8/100ths of an inch below where we should be at this point in May in terms of rainfall. Well, this low pressure system that's hung out in the southeast along the Gulf Coast has really just been dumping bucket after bucket of rain all across areas, not only in central Georgia, but the entire state of Georgia and states over to our west, up to our east, even to our north. So 2.5 inches above average where we should be this time of year in terms of May. I believe we've totaled about 3.5 inches of rain so far, which would go on very accordingly with what we just saw at Middle Georgia Regional Airport, about 3.5 inches of rain around that area. So this is as of yesterday. We still have some rain chances in the forecast for today and for tomorrow, including as we get into the weekend, but it does look like we finally have 2 days on your 7-day forecast without rain chances for Thursday and Friday. So rain chances are starting to scatter out today, which means we're not going to see as good a coverage of rain like we've seen in recent days. Those big clusters that are kind of covering multiple counties at a time, not going to see those. We're really just looking at most of these storms or showers to kind of be isolated in nature, which means one end of the county may get the rain, one end of the county is probably just going to deal with some partly cloudy skies and a warm afternoon. Most are staying dry today and tomorrow, so that's what I mean by scattering out. I guess I could have just went to this next bullet point right there when saying that. But the 90s are on their way, and it may be a little bit sooner than we were originally thinking. So let's go ahead and break down your full forecast. We do have a glimpse of the Warner Robins Skycam right here, which was the site of actually a shower earlier this morning, right around the 8:30, the 9 a.m. cut-ins. We did see an isolated shower roll through. Definitely had its fair share of heavy rain, some reds popping up on the radar. Don't think I saw anything in the way of lightning strikes that were confirmed, so it doesn't necessarily qualify as a thunderstorm per se. But let's take it to all 4 of our sky cams, see if any of them are getting a glimpse of maybe a shower or two, because they are pretty scattered in nature. Doesn't look like anything up here in downtown Macon. Maybe some of these poofy cumulus clouds having somewhat of a dark bottom, which means it's starting to hold a little bit moisture than it can contain, and that's when you start to see some of your rain showers. Some dark bottoms on the clouds here at the Georgia National Fairgrounds, up in downtown Dublin. A little bit clearer, maybe not seeing as much of a spread of the cumulus clouds, those poofy cotton balls. And then down here in Warner Robins was the image that you just saw. That grass is looking mighty green right there after a little bit of hydration. Hopefully many of your backyards are looking like that after all the rain we've gotten very recently. So now let's take it over to our current temperatures, and you will see that we are going to continue to warm up accordingly. Looks like Macon's still stuck in the upper 60s, but probably going to get an update before I get off of this graphic here. Most areas still just in the bottom half of the 70s. So 70 in Warner Robins, 72 in Cochran, 74, 75 in Unadilla and Rochelle, another 75 in McRae. And it looks like 76, maybe the highest temperature that we see. That's going to be up in Sparta and Gordon, up in Hancock and Wilkinson counties. So congratulations, you guys take the high score of the day for our current temperature map. All across the eastern half of the United States, still dealing with 60s and 70s mainly. Does look like it's a little bit cooler up to the north of us, which does make sense because that's going to be closer to the center of low pressure, where a lot more rain showers are continuing to spin up. So you have a little bit of that rain-cooled air in the forecast, where you see this deep shade of kind of that light green color. Areas over to the west in Texas. Be thankful that you do not live in Texas, because this week, especially the next 2 days over there, is going to be scorching. They're talking actual temperatures, hundreds, 105, maybe even upwards to 110. That's not even taking the humidity into account. So it's probably going to get up to feels like numbers somewhere around 115 to 120 in areas of Texas throughout this week. We'll be very thankful that we're only stuck with the 90s here in central Georgia. So your dew points, we still have a little bit of humidity in the forecast. The dew points aren't quite as high as yesterday. We saw some splotches and some shades of that dark green, indicating really muggy air. Well, it's still noticeable, but it's not as bad as yesterday. You probably noticed it when you made your way outside today. Not as humid in nature, but if you are to get one of these scattered showers throughout today, you'll probably notice it still is pretty humid after that, because we'll get some sunshine. That's going to continue to contribute to the evaporation process, and it's also going to continue to contribute to some surface heating. And when you have all that water that just fell on the ground from a rain shower, it definitely makes it feel a little bit more humid in local areas that do see some rain today. Winds and wind gusts, a steady breeze about 3 to 6, maybe 8 miles per hour. See a little bit of this blue shade, maybe a bit of a yellow shade over in areas like Dodge County, Lawrence County, and Bleckley County. Not expected to be too windy of a day, but we may see an occasional gust up to 15 or 20 miles per hour. Hour by hour, the temperatures will continue to climb into the upper 70s, and then our meteogram has these temperatures stopping around 78 degrees, heading into the warmest hours of the day, 3, 4, and 5 p.m. Yesterday, it was saying the exact same thing, and we climbed to a high temperature in the low 80s. So that's why I've gone with the temperature in the low 80s for a high today. Once again, not going to be everyone. If you see a scattered shower pop up during that warmer portion of the day, or you have plenty of cloud cover present, it's not going to allow those temperatures to reach the maximum that they could today. But either way, upper 70s, low 80s, just be thankful for today, because we are going to get a lot warmer. There's a look at your satellite and radar. We saw a good glimpse, maybe a little bit of a line of rain trying to move through from west to east in central Georgia. Most of the rain is actually located in central Georgia or along I-75 as you go into south Georgia. And I just realized I kind of want to zoom in and maybe at least tell you where the rain is. That would probably be a good idea. It's going to be within this kind of thin line of cloud cover. So moving all the way through areas like Wilkinson County, some scattered sprinkles that might move up into Baldwin County and Milledgeville. Going to continue its kind of northeastern path up into Washington County eventually. Some clusters of showers right there on the Lawrence and Wilkinson County line. Some in between Dublin and Cadwell right now. That's going to be south of I-16, crossing I-16 here very shortly. And then a few scattered showers, even some pockets of heavy downpours right here. Seeing some red right there just to the around downtown Alamo to the northwest of Alamo up in Wheeler County, and then that's going to continue to move over into Montgomery and Trutland here very shortly. And then down in our southern corridor, where we continue to see rain start to sprout up out of nowhere, over here around Cordele, crossing I-75 now, a pocket of heavy downpours. And then we do continue to see scattered rain in nature, whether it's heavy downpours, whether it's sprinkles and light showers, maybe in Telfair County, going down I-75, moving through areas like Sylvester, up into Ashburn, around the Tifton area, a little bit south of central Georgia. So there's a look at your live radar right now, and this is real time, so I guess I was playing around with this yesterday and decided to throw it in the stream show. But I wanted to talk about the surface map because all of our weather has been caused by this low pressure system that you've been hearing us talk about because it's just been kind of hanging around in the southeast. We've finally seen it kick into motion. So that low pressure center has moved up to the north, somewhere in southern, south central Illinois right now, and it will continue to move up into the Great Lakes region of the country. Well, this cold front, yesterday it was an occluded front, but it looks like most of the boundaries have taken the shape of a cold front, so a little bit of a cooler air mass flowing in behind these. And another low pressure center has established itself along this line of the cold front. But all you need to know is this L right here is going to continue to go farther to the north. We have rotation in the counterclockwise direction. So the backwards direction, reverse direction that you do typically see a clock move at. So what we're going to see is circulation in that path that my hand's currently going on. And we're seeing that right here where there's some clouds and there's some showers and maybe even some thunderstorms that are continuing to flow down into the south and the southeast on the southern end of this low pressure. Not a whole lot of moisture associated with it as is over here ahead of the frontal boundary where there is plenty of widespread rain stretching from coastal areas of North Carolina up into Pennsylvania, West Virginia, getting up into New Jersey, maybe even areas of New York. Pretty messy picture up there. And actually it was raining earlier this morning, I do believe, somewhere in North Carolina or around Charlotte, actually, I do believe, at Quail Hollow. I saw a video that the PGA Championship posted as of yesterday. So yes, it was a rainy start, probably didn't get a practice round in yesterday, but hopefully the course will be in good condition for Thursday all the way through the weekend for that. Scattered showers and the chance of a storm. Stop me if you've heard that before. Yes, we are kind of rinse and repeating this forecast. 83 for a high temperature. Some areas will get there, some areas won't. Either way, it's going to be below average for this time of year. And the only day I have forecasted on your 7-day forecast that is below average. So it's definitely going to feel a lot warmer towards the end of the work week into the beginning of your weekend. And again, we could see a southwesterly breeze, occasionally up to 20 miles per hour, but that's going to be select few areas. And if you do get a thunderstorm, you may even see the winds get a little gustier than that. That's mainly going to be of the severe criteria. And right now, we showed you this day one outlook, and I think this is the first day in about 4 or 5 days that we actually haven't been included in a level 1 out of 5 risk or any severe weather risk. That's not to say that the possibility of severe weather isn't there. Due to this time of year, you have some warm temperatures, you have humidity in the forecast. It's kind of anyone's guess as to what can happen, but we do have a pretty good idea of what's in store for later this afternoon. It is good that there isn't a lot of confidence that central Georgia has the potential for severe weather later on this afternoon. However, the confidence may be low, but it's not zero, so not throwing it out of the realm of possibility. Going into your day 2 storm outlook, the day 1 risk does go over to our east and our northeast up into South Carolina and North Carolina. Still not a lot of confidence in severe weather tomorrow. However, seeing 1 or 2 severe thunderstorm warnings is definitely not out of the realm of possibility. So going into future view, you will see that this afternoon could shape up nice and dry. It looks like we have a good amount of clearing and cloud cover. That's why I elected for a high temperature above what some models are saying, because it looks like we're going to crawl into the low 80s. We could even flirt with that average mark of 85 this time of year if we are to get nothing but sunshine for the rest of the afternoon. Maybe a few more clouds in the picture than what we're seeing right here. But then we continue to see this counterclockwise circulation throw moisture down here into the state of Georgia. The consensus you will see is going to be a lot more confidence in showers and storms up to the north of us because they're going to be closer to the center of that low pressure. The moisture can only stretch so far, so it looks like we're kind of on that dividing line if we will see anything. The National Weather Service has highlighted that east central Georgia has a chance for seeing some stronger or severe warnings later on this afternoon. We'll see if that comes to fruition. That's obviously been the theme, at least as of yesterday. Our southeastern and our eastern counties had their fair share of some thunderstorms, but models aren't showing anything in terms of that. This is only one model, and we haven't been very confident to buy what the graph has been saying as of recently. So I think we could see more spread of activity in the form of scattered rain or even a storm or two, especially the farther east that you live later on today. Now we go into the overnight hours, and this is where the risk does really transition farther to the north. I wouldn't doubt that a couple of our northern counties could see portions of some strong or severe thunderstorms. We may even see some of them continue during the overnight and early morning hours. More so early morning hours, 4 a.m. I'm already in here forecasting for the morning show, so I'll keep my eye on the radar, and if anything is to pop up, then obviously I will let you know. Maybe you get awoken by a rumble of thunder, you hear the wind, or you hear the rain that's kind of pelting on your window. Well, be sure to tune in with me, whether it's on the morning show, whether it's on social media, and I'll be sure to let you know what's going on if the weather does get a little active early tomorrow. But most of the rain does look to be farther to our north, and then the rain continuing to be pretty scattered in nature. But during the warmer portions of tomorrow afternoon, temperatures should be a little bit warmer than today. We could see maybe some of those thunderstorms try to clip areas of central Georgia, farther up to the north, maybe even to the northeast. And then we clear out. After we get through Wednesday afternoon into the evening hours and the rain gets out of the picture, it will not be back for Thursday or for Friday. But once we go into the weekend, things could change. We could look at some slight rain chances to build back into the picture. How about that humidity? That's probably something that we're going to have to continue to monitor daily. You're going to want to know what it feels like, especially if the dew point temperatures and that humidity is really going to make it feel warmer than it actually is outside. Still hanging around in the 60s. It looks like Friday may be the day with the highest moisture content in our forecast, but we still see it going up and down, just a little mini roller coaster right here until Sunday. And then finally we see a drop off at least down into the more comfortable range, dew point temperatures in the 50s. It's definitely not quite as muggy. And this orange color that you do see right here, that's equivalent to seeing no color on that dew point temperature map that we see. That really shows you the light greens and the dark greens. So that's what the 50s would be equivalent to. And then anything less than 50s is still going to be no color on the dew point temperatures map. So it looks like we do have a little relief in terms of the humidity coming as we go into the beginning of next week. However, it's still going to be fairly noticeable throughout the next couple of days and into this weekend. So I think I got my pause points right here. So we're going to go over to the long range models. This is Friday at 6 p.m. Maybe some clouds in the picture. Overall, still looking to be a pretty good night for any outdoor plans. But then we see a frontal boundary up to the north of us taking shape. This is Saturday morning at 6 a.m. right now. Maybe a severe weather risk up here in areas of Kentucky, West Virginia, southern Ohio. But it does look like an organized line of rain, fairly organized right now. Pretty good agreement that this will try to push into the state of Georgia starting on Saturday morning. Take a look at what happens once it comes into our neck of the woods. A lot of that precipitation, that definitive line is really breaking apart, and it does start to fire back up during the warmer portions of Saturday afternoon into the evening. That's mainly to the west of us, so we're not looking at all of those features that you necessarily have or need for severe weather to be very sufficient to continue to sprout it as we go into your Saturday. It's as it does stand right now. We could see a change in this, but it does look like most of your Saturday is probably going to remain fairly clear. As we go into the nighttime hours, maybe that's when we're looking at a little bit of a better rain chance. Although my general understanding right now, just using common meteorology knowledge, the temperatures that you'll see I have forecasted for Saturday and Sunday, even into Monday, they're going to be warm. We're still going to have moisture in the forecast that the muggy meter did just show you. So those are going to be proper ingredients that you do need to maybe sprout some thunderstorm activity. We'll get a better idea as we do get a little bit closer, but my rain chances are pretty slim as it does currently stand. And hopefully we can hold off most of that rain, maybe even some thunderstorm chances, till at least Saturday night to give you the entire day on Saturday to enjoy some outdoor plans. Going into Sunday and Monday, I guess I didn't have a pause point right there, so let's flash it back to Sunday afternoon. Still looking like we could have some rain chances around us, nothing definitive here specifically in central Georgia. And then going into your Monday morning, still looks like a lot of moisture lingers to the north of us. Nothing definitive. The models are kind of all over the place. So nothing really in the way of an organized system per se. It looks like that frontal boundary that tries to approach as early as Saturday morning does get into the state of Georgia at the very least possibly, but it does kind of sit just to the north of us. So it's looking like it's going to stall out, then it's going to kind of break apart, and all the moisture associated with it is going to kind of just move where conditions are more suitable to sprout rain showers and thunderstorms. So that's where things currently do stand. Nothing to be concerned about. I wouldn't say go canceling any weekend plans at all as it does currently stand. But if we are to see an uptick and maybe the possibility of severe weather and such, then we'll continue to let you know. Right now, it does remain a beautiful weekend, except it's going to be a warm weekend. So anything that you're doing outdoors, heading out to the golf course, maybe going out to enjoy, I guess the strawberry patches are probably still going, doing any of the fun early summer activities that you normally typically do as you finally get into the tail end of the school year with your kiddos, or any of you college graduates, you can go enjoy the first weekend of being free in real life. So right now you see temperatures are going to soar into the 90s Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Once we get to that 90-degree mark, we don't look to leave it for quite a while. You'll see that I still have 90s into Sunday, into Monday next week. The rain chances are only at about 20, 10, maybe 10% right now. Saturday is the day I'd probably be more confident in throwing a rain chance on. So that's why you see a 20% as opposed to a 10 and a 10. It still means there's an 80% chance you don't see rain and a 90% chance that you don't see rain, or even greater than 90%. We like to throw these 10% on here if we do see a lot of potential for maybe some scattered sprinkles. And that obviously isn't going to cover at least 10% of the area receiving rain. But it is something, obviously don't want you to get caught off guard if you do see anything in the way of a brief shower and such. That's still a long ways away, so we'll worry about that when we get there. What you need to know for today and tomorrow, after going through the forecast today, what I was seeing earlier was a little bit different than what I'm seeing now. I would probably throw a thunderstorm icon on Wednesday as well, but still keep the 20% chance, because I think that the scattered nature of the rain is going to be a little bit greater today as opposed to tomorrow. Nonetheless, still scattered rain, scattered shower, scattered storm, maybe even a severe warning or two. That's what you need to be on the lookout for your Tuesday and Wednesday. Most of you will remain dry, just some partly cloudy skies and these pleasant feeling temperatures. And I say pleasant because the 80s are still fairly warm. But now that we're about almost 3 weeks into May, the 90s were going to come soon enough. So it looks like as early as Thursday, we could see that 90-degree mark. And like I said, once we get there, we're looking to hover around it for the foreseeable future. If we are to see some more impressive rain chances for Saturday, maybe into Sunday and Monday, these temperatures will probably get bumped down a little bit depending on the coverage of rain. But right now, as it does stand, I still think most areas are probably going to have partly cloudy skies for any weekend plans, and temperatures going to be mighty warm. And as temperatures continue to get warmer, obviously continue to stay hydrated. Continue to keep your pets off those hot surfaces like asphalt and concrete, especially when taking them for a walk, taking them out to the park. Try to keep them on some grass or get them a pair of shoes to insulate their paws from the very, very hot temperatures on some hot surfaces. And then we're also going to say that you definitely need to have your sunscreen. You definitely need to stay hydrated. Make sure you have your sunglasses, you're dressing accordingly, t-shirt and shorts, making sure that you're dressing comfortably for this. And now we're kind of getting into that stretch I was always telling you about, oh, we have a little bit of a cool down still in store. Don't quite think that's going to happen anymore. We're into the month of May. We know we get an early start to summer here in Central Georgia. So I hope you got the most out of your winter clothing. Go ahead and keep them in the back of your closet until we get maybe sometime into October. I think October will probably be kind of our first big cool spell again. But I know a lot of you are probably excited getting into the summer stretch of weather, but still 2 days that we have to be on guard for. Just keep an eye out on the radar. If anything severe is to pop up, then us on the weather team will be keeping you updated, either here on the stream, and obviously if anything is to get more severe than that, then we'd come on air to let you know what's going on. But we'll still be here around the clock doing our usual shows. Ansley Parker will be with you at midday. Ben Jones will be in later this evening, and this afternoon into the evening would be the timing if we are going to see anything severe, but not too confident in it, not in any kind of severe weather risk. Just always want you to be prepared for whatever is possible. So thanks for tuning in to your extended forecast. We'll be back here at 10:30 tomorrow, and hopefully I can give you a little bit of a better idea of your weekend forecast coming up.